Alright. Hello guys. Super Neo here, and I know I already released a video today, but this one just came out of the blue, and it's about some situation that even though we had no part of, I kinda got thrown into the crosshairs of, and it's important. So I kinda have to do this. I feel like I'm obligated to do this as well. And with that being said, another person who I have with me is a person named Ploz.
Hello. If you guys don't know who I am plausible. I am one of the moderators within Super Bear Neo server, friend of his, and we found this situation. It was about just kind of earlier, like an hour ago or something like that. And there was a situation with a person named Zostando getting banned on Versus Battles Wiki, and that's fine or whatever like that. But on that thread, it was off of the site and on the community tab, and it was talking about basically our server with another user named Sadistic Sleuth.
And alright. Regarding Sadistic Sleuth, also known as Todd, me at least, I'm friends with him, and actually no, me and Ploz are actually relatively cool with him, and me, I kind of have a deeper connection with him. I'm kind of borderline friends with him. And here's the thing: what we say next, we don't mean to throw Todd under the bus or anything like that, or we don't mean to like start drama with him particularly. But in his specific case, we've kind of had to warn him about shit talking those people specifically, and shit talking ShadowWarrior in that case, and all that. So what we say about him right now, we're not trying to like spark stuff or like throw him under the bus per se, but like what he's saying, but what he said specifically, kind of in that case, then it's kind of justified in a sense. Now throwing our whole server in to begin with, such as throwing me, throwing Kaz, and throwing some other people who were part of our server, and trying to straw man to make it look like that we all hate Shadow and all that stuff. That's where the line got drawn, and this is one of the reasons why we're making this video to begin with.
See, the problem here, though, is you might think to yourself, well, this is mostly about Sadistic Sleuth, isn't it? Well, you'd be right in thinking that, but the problem is, though, is that it says Sadistic Sleuth / Super Rare Neo's exposed. So you'd think, right, it's mainly about Sadistic Sleuth. But with all of those other screenshots that are thrown in just from the server in general, you might just think that because of that a lot of the servers also like that. And since there's not a whole lot of more clarity to the situation, you see random users shit talking another person, and then you'll see something like, oh, a bunch of things from Todd. That means that all of them must be like that. And there are people who are going to assume that and probably punish the people who are on the server actively. And there are a lot of other individuals who probably wouldn't even be involved with like some of the screenshots that might get in trouble because of this. This video is mostly just to try to dismiss those, and no offense to the Sadistic Sleuth, obviously, but yes, again, we've told him in multiple situations not to shit-talk individuals. I know, for example, that he shit-talked a friend of mine named Miss X, and I told him personally that, hey, you shouldn't be shit-talking Miss X, and I've made it abundantly clear to him in the past that you shouldn't shit-talk. This is why. But, yeah, I think we should begin to talk about just the situation in general, just the different screenshots and why the entire server is not at fault.
Yeah, so what I'm gonna do here is regarding this link and all that stuff and all these screenshots, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just go over and review some of these, and also go over some of the, and also if I can explain some of the context behind them, because some of these I do know what was happening behind them and all that stuff. So with that being said, I'm gonna have to click on this link here real quick to review, look at it, and mind you, there's like quite a few screenshots too and all that. So yeah,
I think what's more important here, obviously, is that we're not talking about the ones that obviously that revolve around Todd, but the ones that are talking about this is in Super Bear Neo server, like in general. Yeah, it does happen there, but with there being so many users and all that, I'm just gonna say it's pretty clear that while we don't have a specific rule saying you can't shit talk, and because of that, and we're not really fully connected to Versus Battles Wiki with the full thing, that just because they're shit talking doesn't mean that their entire server is against Versus Battles Wiki. Like, not everyone is up in arms trying to flail around and go attack Versus Battles or raid it and something like that. That's completely idiotic.
And yeah, and the funny thing is, like, what also ShadowWarrior doesn't realize is that, like, when he makes something like this, he kind of paints a negative picture, and not only a negative one, but a false picture about the server, acting like as if we're not only, like what Ploz said, plotting against Versus Battle Wiki, but also in general just have a general dislikes towards them, which is false. Not everyone dislikes Shadow. I may personally do, honestly, and I'm not gonna hide it from you. But at the end of the day, I don't go out of my way to shit talk ShadowWarrior because it's a waste of my time, quite frankly, and a waste of many of other people's time as well.
So the first screenshot I'd like to talk about is the one where they bring up Lina Shields, and that's another person within our server. It says, "I thought we all got over the whole Matt thing by now. Prefer to just see prom bite that's more than that just me." Yeah. And obviously, they're just talking about something there, and they're not even shit talking Matt, which was supposed to be a huge thing apparently within this. But literally, if someone like Lina Shields is inactive on the site, and they don't even have an account there, I think, anymore. Like, they have like a dead account, but they've had a lot more personal interactions with the Versus Battle staff because they were former Versus Battle staff, so they probably have formed their own opinion. So I'm not sure why this is necessarily wrong. But I think it's still necessary to talk about the fact that people might think that the Versus Battles roasting channel is about the shit talking of the server. No, it's about shit talking Matt. No, it's not. It's literally just, it has roast Matt in the thing, but it's more or less a joke rather than being outright serious. I don't think that when you created the channel, Neo, did you outright mean let's all attack Matt at once?
No, I never did. The funny thing is, what we did when I first made this channel, it came off of another user wanting me to like make a server dedicated to this funny and relatively stupid stuff that come from Versus Battle Wiki. It was never meant to attack Matt. Now, admittedly, one of the first things that did come into the server was about Matt, but the thing is, the server, conceptually speaking, was never about Matt to begin with. It was just Versus Battle Wiki as a whole, and even then, it's not solely a negative thing, as we post, because like in the channel, we post some stuff that are not even about power scaling and all that stuff, just stupid stuff said in Versus Battle Wiki in general, or something funny. So at the end of the day, it's not purely about, oh, let's roast Versus Battle Wiki, let's just insult them. No, it's not about that. And even then, usually when we disagree about something, we usually be constructive. We don't just go out and attack and flail our arms and stuff like that's going to work. That's not how that works.
And again, whenever we talk about Versus Battles or anything like that, because I think this does need to be clarified, whenever we talk about something in the Versus Battles roasting channel, is again just something that we don't find all that coherent. Like, let's just say we find some thread that's a stomp thread, like there was a thread with Lavos versus Terrarian, for example. Obviously, Lavos stomps pretty hard, and you just link something like that as a joke. And while sometimes it's just used more of a way, sometimes it's venting out of frustration as well on the thread. Because let's be honest, if you do something like, if you have like a situation, you're in like, even like a debate, you'll sometimes have frustrations, and you'll take that out and just like give your thoughts in the moment. And there's nothing really wrong with that, though, because at the end of the day, it's not really trying to attack someone, because expecting someone to not shit talk is like expecting someone to be the Goku of the real life and expecting everyone to become a Goku. Would be pure heart and not do anything wrong or something like that. But no, shit talking is just something that happens in real life. You just have to accept it. It shouldn't be a thing that you act like, whoa, over.
Yeah, and like the people, like, you can try to censor all you want, but at the end of the day, human nature is just about, this is going to do that regardless. So you can try to censor and try to regulate it, sure, but you're not going to prevent it, period, because it's just going to be a thing in general. And so like when we see people like this, like making these type of screenshots and all that stuff and trying to like make us paint a bad picture about us, about shit talking, which mind you, it's natural, but it's natural but not right, but still, it's not really a reason to just come after the whole server and all that stuff, people who have no involvement in this.
Oh, and here's one of the better ones, though. Just like one of the things in here says Matt did everything in his power to stop infinite/immeasurable Dragon Ball heroes. Okay, that's not wrong. And then there's like a random thing that's like says so he can protect Saint Seiya from being blitzed. That's crossed out. And the description reads, Sadistic Sleuth accuses Matt of being biased for Saint Seiya because he rejected Dragon Ball speed upgrades. But literally the fact that it's crossed out through strike-through should literally be indicative of the fact that it's not being serious whenever they say a comment like that. But for some reason, we take that at face value, meaning that it actually is. Again, this is like one of the things where you take something too literally. Imagine if you said, like, something is a bottomless pit, like my stomach's a bottomless pit. If we go by this type of logic, is my stomach an actual bottomless pit where it has no end, it's forever infinite? Yeah, I guess so, because it's the logic we have to follow to get our entire server in trouble.
Yeah, and see, the funny thing about it is, during that context, people were just poking fun at the fact that Matt is, like, usually he's a lot protective of Saint Seiya and all that stuff. Not just Saint Seiya, but verses in general that he supports. And generally, those verses tend to get a lot more protection and, like, you know, less downgrades and all that stuff when he's protecting it. That's usually a joke on that. We're not attacking Matt just because, oh, he protects Saint Seiya. And if you want to be honest, quite frankly, a good portion of people in our server, admittedly, are just opposed to Dragon Ball in general. If not opposed, and just don't care about it.
One of the things also says Super Neo trash talking Matt, but then when you also go to the screenshot, one of the messages is literally just saying, I don't agree with 2B Sonic, but Matt was wrong here.
Yeah.
And I don't get how that's shit talking. It's just saying that someone was wrong. And then the other thing is just saying, fuck Matt. And that's just more of a retort rather than listing off about, like, the entire things. It doesn't even compare to Shadow, to, like, Sadistic Sleuth entire thing about shit talking. Again, we don't support that. But Super Bear Neo, quote unquote, shit talking here isn't even, like, at the level of, oh my, he's actually trying to go after Matt. It's like one of them is literally just a comment about Matt was being wrong, and one of them just saying fuck Matt. Like, if that's offensive to somebody, then our entire generation is truly a bunch of snowflakes.
And you know, at the end of the day, what makes this even more ridiculous is the fact that I'm not gonna hide it. I've already said countless times in the many videos I do not like Matt. But at the end of the day, when he's wrong, I'm gonna recognize that. Even if he's going against something, that I'm also against, I'm not gonna just change my views just because he's gonna do something in my favor. That's not how that works. I don't like Matt personally. But at the end of the day, in the context in which, like, when I was talking about the Sonic upgrades, I still don't support 2B Sonic. But at the end of the day, he didn't have a right to just, you know, start name calling, throwing all these accusations and stuff. He's supposed to be a mod. He's supposed to be someone who you're supposed to, like, look up to or supposed to set an example, not act childish and all that stuff. He's basically doing stuff that, like, common users type do and all that stuff. It's crazy.
And okay, here's one screenshot that involves me, and basically he said that I wanted to spite Matt, but whenever you look at the screenshot, it's again another case where I said I only supported 2B Sonic because I dislike Matt and want to spite him. But you know what's wrong here though? There's strike through yet again. Like, I'm not sure if this person knows what strike through means. But whenever someone tends to do strike-through, at least within this server, the context of it is that they're not being serious. So whenever I said that, of course I'm not being serious because it's literally in strike-through. Now, I do think that there are some people who probably don't use strike-through that way, but at least for myself and a lot of other people that are within the server, they do that, so of course it wasn't meant to be a serious remark, and I'm not sure why that's wrong to begin with. And again, one of them is just me saying Matt's just an arrogant asshole. And I'm going to be honest, I don't like Matt because I've had many bad interactions with him. He's effectively told everyone that's a Sonic fan that they're stonewalling and they don't like that they're literally just trying to push for wanking and shit. So, of course, yes, I have a problem with that. I'm not sure why that's a problem if literally one of the moderators on your site is trying to attack the entire fan base. And I don't renounce that part. I'm just saying, though, that when someone says something like that about Matt, and they have a reason for why they're saying it, not just trying to attack him, that's not really an attack. Just say that he's an arrogant asshole, because he was being one on that thread.
And it's just, and at the end of the day, it's just, all this is crazy, because, like, at the end of the day, a good portion of us is not even heavily connected towards Versus Battle Wiki. Hell, I've already made it clear that I don't even want to be anywhere part of it anymore. I left, and I've never been active ever since. So, like, exposing me or my server, it really had no point or anything like that. It was just a pointless act to begin with. And, okay, if you want to get sadistic sleep, alright, do him. Not my whole server, and try to paint a negative picture and just make us all look like we're just jealous or like we just dislike people in general. No, that's not how it works. The server in general is generally a nice place to be around. It's just that when you get shit like this, everything just gets more. It gets like really bad and all that.
Then there's like some screenshot about Matt Goons and stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, because I don't know if I've made this clear in the server or not, but I think that I've at least made it clear that we shouldn't make goon comments, because using the term goon is rather demeaning. Like, it's practically belittling someone as if they don't have their own identity beyond just like, oh, we share the same opinions sometimes, but that doesn't mean that you should be classified as being that person's underling or something like that.
Yeah, and you know, that's one thing I do regret. I did used to use the term goon, but honestly, I do kind of regret looking back on it, because not only is it just cringy, but like not everyone is like that. Now, granted, there are people who are what people consider a goon. That idea does exist. It's just that not everyone is it just because they follow someone else.
And then there's like some other person saying that Matt's the reason why people think Versus Battles Wiki is full of autists. And I'm like, in that specific instance, there's someone literally just saying, it's kind of a double-edged thing, I guess. One of it is just talking about how A, not everyone in Versus Battles Wiki is an idiot, if anything. That's what that comment is saying. And B, yes, while it is attacking Matt, I think that everyone can agree, though, that Matt's part of the reason why Versus Battles Wiki does get a bad reputation. If I had the specific comment on me right now, I would do it, but I think that in one of the older videos we talked about exposing Versus Battles Wiki, there was a specific comment where literally Emphysema admitted that part of the reason Versus Battles gets a bad rep is because of Matthew Schroeder and because of weekly battles. So I'm not trying to say that you should shit talk Matthew, and that it's justified in all circumstances that you can attack Matthew. But what I'm saying is it's just a common thing, and part of the reason he is shit talked is because he is effectively like doing instances like calling people stonewallers and stuff, and that's literally just a fact. It's because of Matt having a very bad reputation that Versus Battles also gets kind of that same thing by default. So that's not really... It's kind of like an insult, but at the same time, it's just speaking the truth.
Yeah, and I've said this beforehand, and I do agree that Matthew is... I've said this like countless times, actually, as a matter of fact, that I do agree that Matthew is what is holding back Versus Battle Wiki and holding it back from being what it can be. Now, granted, like what Ploz said, I don't feel like you're justified in just attacking Matt nilly-willy like that. Of course not. I don't feel like you should do that to anyone, period. But the thing is that it is a fact that Matthew is kind of holding Versus Battle Wiki back. It's even to the point where, like Ploz said again, Ant is even admitting that. So, like, the fact that someone said that and just pointed it out there, he's just saying that because, well, it's already out there. It's a fact. Everyone already admits it, but just no one wants to really, truly say it.
And one of the other things is Matt's best bet is going for Syrah, and Matt has been trying to get her for ages. And I guess the subtitle is saying they think Matt is hitting on Syrah. One of these users isn't even in the server anymore, so I'm not sure why that's entirely irrelevant. Like, one of them isn't even there, and he's kind of gone because of similar stuff. And one of them is from another person named Lennis. but the first remark doesn't even seem like literally it's being serious. It seems like it's more of a joke. I'm not sure about the second remark, though. But to say that the entire server, or they think it, like, when you say they, you might as well be, like, talking about the entire server, because you're talking about Super Bear Neo server, so you're trying to act as if everyone think that. That's, like, not all, that's a super huge generalization, for one. But your only example was using 2 users, one of which was probably just a joke, so that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, and you know the funny thing is we shouldn't even have to. We really neither one of us wanted to do this. We really didn't. But the fact that the fact of the matter is that they really tried to pull off the fact that Shadow tried to use some sort of hypocrisy, using that but these people used it there, but these people did this here, they should be banned too. No. That's an argument from hypocrisy. Just because what I'm doing is hypocritical, it doesn't make what you're doing right. Like, for example, just because I say that gay people are bad, or gay people are bad, and I'm gay, I mean, I make a compelling argument for it. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that I support that. I'm just saying I'm making an example. If just because I say that gay people are bad, meanwhile I'm gay, pointing to the fact that I'm gay and using that as an argument for why I'm wrong, or why the argument itself is wrong, is fallacious. That's not how that works. You have to make a good point as to why the argument's wrong, and that's exactly what Shadow was doing here, basically.
Okay, and here's another example. There are some other examples about talking about Matt, but let's be honest, if it's a versus battles channel, you're going to be talking about Matt a lot, and this stuff isn't even mostly, it's just randomly just talking about stuff. There's not even like a whole lot of snark here. It's just like talking about Matt, and
yeah, and see the funny, and you know,
and his, but Matt became the worst. Nothing to Matt. If I had to work with Shadow to fuck over Matt.
And, you know, at the end of the day, it's really funny because, like, Matt has really much less to do with this. He really has nothing to do with this. Like, if they really wanted to get us all off of Verse Battle Wiki, then they just should have just stick with the shit talk or something like that. Matt, in general, had nothing to do with Matt, in general, had nothing to do with this. They just brought that in just to get that extra shock, that extra oomph, you know?
And it said... and I made a remark here saying, can we get Matt demoted to chat mod? And so, for example, let's just talk about the context of that situation. So basically, Matthew Shorter used to be an admin, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's fine. But he got demoted to being a discussions moderator, I think. Either that or he's a confident mod, I can't remember. But he got demoted to being one of those positions, and this came from the fact that basically, I don't know why they demoted him. I don't think they ever made that reason public. Probably just because, you know, that's a private thing. Naturally, if a staff gets demoted, you don't, like, announce the reasons why. But if that's the case, but mostly within the situation of Matt getting demoted to chat mod, this mainly just came from the fact that I will admit this, I was typing up a letter to fandom to get Matt demoted from Versus Battles Wiki. And I'm not trying to be rude with this to Matthew Schroeder, but again, literally Matt, in that circumstance that we were talking about, the problem I had with him is that how he's been treating a lot of people, how he's been treating a lot of my friends personally, and I was trying to write up the letter for that. You know, if he gets demoted, that's what I was just saying, whatever, I'll trash my letter. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to lie. I don't like Matthew Schroeder, and so don't a lot of other people. And that's not even just from the perspective that, oh, you're just a Versus Battles hater or something like that. Literally, a lot of people on site don't like him for his attitude. He's had to be warned about it several times, and it's just... He's been shown the utmost leniency for absolutely no reason. But we shouldn't be talking just about Matthew, because this video isn't about Matthew. The point is, though, is that we're trying to justify why Matthew gets brought up. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah, if like Plot said, this general video was about this whole exposed, in quote, by the way, in quotations, exposed that ShadowWarrior tried to pull and tried to, like, deterrent from his own banning, and his whole situation was the stando. That's what this is about, and all that stuff. And at the end of the day, this is just ridiculous because I already explained why this doesn't work and this was just pointless. So what I'm thinking here is that like either he's just doing this just because of the fact that we do dislike him, well, me personally or like other people dislike him, or just the fact that he thinks that, like, I don't know, something else. I don't know. My point is there was really no point in just bringing this up in general because it wasn't going to solve anything, and making an argument from hypocrisy was not going to be a valid point regardless. So there had to be some sort of other motive for this or something else. And the funny thing is about it is just that I don't even understand like how this whole situation could happen. Like, it's like literally what 2020 right now, and I find like we could at least just wait this out a bit and just like not try to put this shit in. But nah, ShadowWarrior couldn't wait at all. But this whole situation is stupid. This whole situation is just stupid in general, and I don't mean this video just to be a whole ShadowWarrior stupid fuck him. I mean, I do feel those feelings, but at the end of the day, everything that we said here was justified, definitely justified in every sense of the word. And at the end of the day, if we do get banned, well, I mean, should some people who were in part of our wiki do get banned for this whole thing, then so be it. I mean, at the end of the day, this video exists to completely debunk everything that was said here and explain just why it was faulty. So, yeah. With that being said, that's all, folks. Super Neo, peace the fuck out, like usual.